Everything changed in a matter of seconds. Literally, one moment you're standing at the absolute peak of the mountain. You're holding the Lombardi trophy, the confetti is falling, you're a legend. But the very next second, the rest of the league starts circling like sharks. Welcome back to NFL Nexus. Today we're bringing you an essential explainer on the brutal, unforgiving reality of the NFL's championship hangover. It's a reality the 2026 Seattle Seahawks are staring down right this very second. We're going to dive deep into the cracks of this roster. So if you want to understand the real chess match happening behind closed doors, make sure you hit subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below, and seriously support what we do here by becoming a channel member.
So you might be wondering, how on earth does a team actually survive the Super Bowl tax? Look, winning it all is the ultimate dream, right? But the second you win it, you immediately paint a massive glowing target on your own back. Opposing front offices, they aren't just looking to beat you the next season. No, they're actively working to dismantle your entire operation. They throw ridiculous piles of cash at your foundational players, they poach your coaching staff, and they aggressively drain your roster of the exact established stars that got you to the promised land in the first place. The Super Bowl tax is a rapid, terrifying roster bleed. It literally forces a champion to try and rebuild the airplane while it's mid-flight.
Because the Lombardi trophy comes with a heavy price: the roster purge. Yeah, the parade in Seattle was glorious, but the confetti has been swept up, the cheering has stopped, and the gritty, proving ground of the 2026 mandatory minicamp has arrived. And let's be clear, this is not just some standard June walkthrough in shorts and t-shirts. This is a high-stakes survival test, where totally unproven rookies and practice squad guys must instantly step up to replace legendary veterans, or the entire system completely collapses.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The cost of a championship. 2. Revamping the offensive weapons. 3. Reloading the secondary. 4. Winning the trenches. And 5. Defending the crown. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The cost of a championship. Who actually left the building?
Let's talk about the absolute attrition this roster faced. Opposing franchises aggressively poached the Seahawks core this offseason. And honestly, it makes sense, right? When you win a Super Bowl, every team wants a piece of that championship magic. But the sheer volume of what Seattle lost is staggering. Riq Woolen and his 817 snaps, gone. Poof. You do not just effortlessly replace 817 high-leverage, starting-caliber defensive snaps. His incoming replacement is Julian Neal, a third-round rookie who now carries the weight of the world on his shoulders. Then you look at the backfield. Kenneth Walker III, the lead running back, the engine of the offense. He signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. Let that sink in. They handed their best weapon to a direct AFC threat, forcing a chaotic committee of unproven talent to suddenly carry the rock. And please, do not overlook Kobe Bryant. He was a crucial safety who defected to the Chicago Bears, leaving Ty Okada and Bud Clark in a sudden death match for the starting role. The contrast between these departed, proven stars and the completely unproven replacements, it's vast and it is terrifying for this coaching staff.
Which brings us to Section 2, revamping the offensive weapons, replacing the engine. We are looking at a dark, difficult reality in the running back room right now. The Seahawks didn't just lose Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs in free agency. That would be bad enough. But no, they also lost their ultimate safety net. Zach Charbonnet suffered a completely devastating torn ACL and is out indefinitely. Think about the gravity of that. A franchise whose entire physical identity is historically tied to punishing people in the run game now has a massive, gaping hole in the backfield. The safety net is gone, the lead back is gone, they need to find answers, and they need to find them right now. So that sets the stage for an absolute three-way war for the backfield. First up, you've got Jadarian Price. He's the rookie first-round pick, and man, he is carrying sky-high expectations. But rookies, no matter how talented, need time to develop into the speed of the NFL. That's where the veteran Emmanuel Wilson comes in. Now, critics were highly skeptical of Wilson's signing. They seriously doubt he can be the true, every-down lead back on a title-contending team. But you have to notice his career average, 4.5 yards per carry. He actually has the raw efficiency. But efficiency in spot duty is one thing. He needs to prove he is the undisputed superior option during this minicamp. And finally, you throw George Halani into the mix. He's a player with a total habit of flashing and standing out in the preseason. This isn't just a drill, folks. This is a highly competitive, desperate battle for the starting job on a defending chain.
$51 million. I just want you to let the sheer overwhelming financial weight of that extension sink in for a second. This is the 3-year contract the Seahawks handed to wide receiver and return specialist Rashid Shaheed this offseason. $51 million. In the NFL, big money brings massive, unforgiving expectations. When a front office commits that kind of cash, they aren't paying for potential anymore. They are paying for a true game-breaking impact player.
Now, juxtapose that massive contract with his actual recent statistics. Prepare yourself. 15 regular season receptions, just 188 receiving yards, a mere 64 rushing yards. And when the lights were brightest in the playoffs, 3 catches on 10 targets for 78 yards. Now look, to be totally fair here, Shaheed was acquired in November from the Saints, and he absolutely provided an electric spark. We're talking 2 special teams touchdowns and a massive playoff kickoff return. The guy is totally lethal in the return game. But here is the cold, hard reality. You do not pay a kick returner $51 million. You just don't. Shaheed has to step onto that field and prove he is a true every-down receiving threat, or that contract instantly becomes a massive, crippling liability for this franchise.
All right, let's shift the energy to someone who actually delivered when everything was on the line. Listen to this quote from A.J. Barner. "I expect myself to be one of the best tight ends in the league." Wow. That is an incredibly bold, borderline arrogant mindset from a player who is quite literally coming off off-season surgery. But you know what? He has completely earned the right to talk like that. Think back to the last time he was on the field. He caught a pivotal, season-defining touchdown against the Patriots to help win the Super Bowl. He wrapped up the year with a rock-solid 52 catches for 519 yards. The confidence is real. So how exactly does he back up that massive claim? There is a 3-step process here. Step 1. He has to recover fully from that surgery. He absolutely expects to be completely healthy and ready to roll by training camp. Step 2. Integrate into new offensive coordinator Brian Flores' system. And this is the real secret weapon right here. Flores spent 4 years with the 49ers as the tight ends coach. He literally engineered George Kittle's absolute dominance. Kittle made the Pro Bowl in all 5 seasons with Flores on staff. That brings us to step 3 for Barner, replicating that elite, monstrous production. This scheme is a tight end's dream scenario, and the entire organization is banking on Barner taking a superstar leap.
Moving to Section 3, reloading the secondary, defending the airspace.
Head coach Mike Macdonald's defensive scheme is like this intricate, high-speed puzzle, and it lives and dies by the sheer talent and instinct of its defensive backs. If the secondary struggles, the entire defense collapses, period. Which brings us right back to Rick Woolen's massive departure. Now, strictly speaking, Woolen wasn't a perfect textbook fit for Macdonald's complex zone match concepts, but his freakish athleticism covered up so many mistakes. Enter Julian Neal, the 3rd-round rookie. The kid is built like an absolute tank. It's 6'2", 203 pounds, but he ran a 4.49 40-yard dash. That is a major red flag in this system. Without that elite superhero recovery speed, he can't simply outrun a receiver if he gets beat off the line of scrimmage. To survive in this league, he has to master gritty, physical press coverage. He has to jam these elite receivers right at the line to totally disrupt their timing, or he is going to get exposed.
And it's not just the corners feeling the heat. Look at the crazy rise of Ty Okada. We are talking about an undrafted free agent who completely stepped up in his 3rd season. He posted 65 tackles, 6 pass deflections, and grabbed an interception. His gutsy performance actually gave the front office the confidence to let a guy like Kobe Bryant just walk out the door. But here is the dramatic pivot, and you have to pay attention to this. Okada's starting job is still far from safe. Why? Because the Seahawks went out and drafted Bud Clark in the 2nd round. You don't spend a high draft pick on a defensive back unless you want him on the field. Clark is actively breathing down his neck, competing for that exact spot. Defending your hard-earned role against a highly touted rookie is an entirely new, vicious challenge for Okada.
Let's get to Section 4, winning the trenches, the dirt and the grime.
We are moving away from the flashy skill positions now, and we are going straight down into the mud, the defensive line. This is the shadow realm where actual football games are won and lost. Look at the definition of a pure nose tackle. A massive, run-stopping defensive lineman whose primary, completely thankless job is eating up space and holding the line of scrimmage. They absorb brutal double teams just so other guys can make the tackle and get the glory. Enter Seahawks Bubba Thomas. Undrafted out of South Alabama, this guy spent months just grinding in obscurity in the practice squad. At 6'1", 301 pounds, Bubba is fighting for his absolute football life. He is fighting for one of the hardest, most punishing jobs in professional sports just for the right to stay in the league.
And the reality is, the Seahawks are already loaded up front. You've got Byron Murphy II and Brandon Peely firmly holding down those top spots. So Bubba Thomas is currently locked in a fierce, desperate competition with Devin Eastern, a 7th-round pick. And what are they even fighting for?
They are fighting for the right to be the third string, the absolute bottom of the active roster. One single blown assignment during this minicamp, one missed gap, and the opportunity is gone forever. Every single practice rep between these two is a literal matter of professional survival.
Finally, Section 5, Defending the Crown, the ultimate test. So we loop all the way back around to the terrifying concept of the championship hangover and the ultimate cost of hoisting that trophy. I'm going to leave you with this striking cliffhanger. Will the unproven rise up to the challenge? Will a rookie like Julian Neal actually be able to lock down the perimeter? Can Emmanuel Wilson shoulder the massive load of a rushing offense? Will Rashid Shaheed actually justify that staggering $51 million price tag? Or will the Super Bowl tax finally bankrupt this potential dynasty? You can spend years meticulously building a champion, only to watch it completely crumble if the next man up fails to hold the line. The story of the 2026 Seattle Seahawks is being written right now in the dirt of minicamp, and believe me, it is far from over.
If you want the absolute best, most intense analysis on how this crazy offseason unfolds, you need to subscribe to NFL Nexus right now. Sound off in the comments below. I want to know which of these totally unproven players you think will actually step up when the lights come on. And seriously, take a second to support the channel by becoming a member today so we can keep bringing you these deep dive explainers. I'm your host, and I will see you next time.